Hey there guys, welcome to this video. This is my second one of my two adding and subtracting rational expressions. So I'm going to go over adding and subtracting rational expressions. I'm going to do a few others that are a little more complicated than the last ones that I did. Okay, so I've got about three or four examples and a couple of practice problems for you. So these are the same rules as I went over last time. So you want to make sure that this is kind of the steps that you're going to do when you're taking it. So let's take a look at some examples. All right, so let's simplify each expression. Now, whenever we're going to do adding and subtracting any of these, we're going to factor. So that's our first big thing, and I mentioned this in the last video, is we want to make sure that everything is in factored form. So we're going to factor this guy right here, and we're going to factor this one right here. So we're going to have y minus 3 over y minus 2 times y plus 4 minus y plus 2 over y plus 4 times y minus 4. So now the same thing we did last time is we thought about what are each of these missing that the other one has, because we're looking for the common denominator. So notice that this one has a y plus 4 and this one has a y plus 4. This one does not have a y minus 4 that this one does, so we're going to go ahead and put this as y minus 4 and y minus 4. Because I need a y minus 4 here to match it up with this one. Now, this one now has a y minus 2, this one does not, so I need to multiply the top and the bottom by y minus 2. Alright, so now I'm going to multiply this, well, I'm going to multiply these two out, okay? So here I'm going to have y squared minus 7y plus 12 all over, and you know, we can multiply all this stuff out, but I'm going to leave it like this just because to save a little bit of time. Minus y squared, it looks like a difference in square, so y squared minus 4 and now we need to subtract. So whenever we have a subtraction here, we're going to want to make sure that we distribute that subtraction to each of these, okay? So we've got a minus y squared and a minus times a negative, or a negative and a negative here. A minus minus is going to make this a plus, okay? So, and then we're going to add like terms. So we're going to add like terms. We've got a y squared and a minus y squared. So let's just, I'm going to rewrite this up here. Y squared minus 7y plus 12 minus y squared plus 4. So I don't have y squareds. So I'm going to end up with, my answer is going to be negative 7y plus 16 all over this entire, you know, this common denominator here, which was y minus 4 times y plus 4 times y minus 2. And again, you might want to multiply all this out, and you're going to get a cubic thing there, but that's going to be our answer. Here's a practice problem for you, so why don't you pause it for a second and go ahead and do the practice problem. Alright, here's the answer, solution for that. Okay, like you see here, we did multiply all this out to get this y cubed, and you want to make sure that you know you're missing the y minus 2 here, so you multiply that. You're missing the y minus 3 there, or y plus 3, so you multiply that. Okay? Alright, let's take a look at another example. Alright, this is an addition divided by subtraction. So you've got two options here. You can do the addition first, and then do the subtraction here, and then divide them like we did in the multiplication and division video. There's also another way that we can do it that's a little bit quicker, I think. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at all of these, okay, all of the denominators, and we're going to find the common denominator of all of these denominators. And the common one is going to be 2x, well, it looks like it's going to be 4x squared. Yep, that's pretty much it, 4x squared, right? Because this is the common denominator of all of these, is 4x squared. So what I'm going to do with this 4x squared is I'm going to multiply the entire top by 4x squared and the entire bottom by 4x squared. Alright, so that what that's going to do is we're going to multiply this one here, this whole thing here by 4x squared, this whole thing by 4x squared, this whole thing by 4x squared, and this whole thing by 4x squared. So here's what it looks like, guys. I know it looks kind of complicated, but it's really not, okay? So we're going to have 3 over 2x times 4x squared plus 2 over x squared times 4x squared all over x over 4 times 4x squared minus 3 over x times 4x squared. So watch what happens, folks. Watch what. This is kind of exciting, okay? 2 goes into 4 2 times. The x cancels with one of these. X squared cancels with this x squared. 4 cancels with this 4. X cancels with one of these x's. All right, so I'm going to have 3 times 2x right here. 3 times 2x, okay, which is going to give me 6x plus 2 times 4, which is 8, over x times x squared, which is x cubed, minus 3 times 4x, right, because I only got rid of one of them, is 12x. And this is your answer. All right? So that's using the common denominator to multiply all of those. So here's a practice problem for you. So why don't you go and try that out? All right, here is the answer and the solution for that. So the common denominator here is 2xy. So we just multiply everything by 2xy, and those that cancel out, that's what we end up with. All right, last example here, folks. So here's another one just like that. So what we're going to have to do is, right, we're going to have to factor to see what this is. So when we factor it, I'll just write it underneath. I'm going to have x minus 4 and x minus 3. So what's the common denominator? X minus 4 times x minus 3, right? So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by x minus 4 times x minus 3. All right, so it's going to look like this, guys. It's going to look like this. And I'll go and put these guys in black here. 6 over x minus 3 times x minus 4, x minus 3. Minus 2 over x minus 4 times x minus 4, x minus 3. All over 2x over x minus 4, x minus 3 times, because that's the entire denominator, x minus 4, x minus 3. All right, so let's see what this does, okay? All right, so this is going to cancel with this. This is going to cancel with this. This is going to cancel with this. And this is going to cancel with this. So I'm going to be left with 6 times x minus 4 minus 2 times x minus 3 all over 2x. So let's simplify that by distributing the 6 into that parentheses and the negative 2 into that one. And finally, we're going to add like terms. So we're going to get 4x minus 18 over 2x. Oh, it looks like we can still simplify because we got 2's all over the place here. So 2x minus 9 over 2x. The 2's cancel out. Okay, so our final answer here, guys, is 2x minus 9 all over x. Okay, so that's how we do this one. All right, so here's one more practice for you to do. So why don't you take a second to work on that? All right, and here are the solution. Here's the solution. All right, so that's it, folks. That is my second video of adding and subtracting rational expressions. See you later.